Hey y'all, Rick Houston here, and I want to tell you about my new show, the Moonshine and Motorsports Racing Podcast. I've partnered up with the state of North Carolina Department of Natural and Cultural Resources to help uncover the history behind moonshining mountain boys, professional wheelmen, and the backwoods and city lights of the Tar Heel State. In the first episode, I sat down with Winston Kelly at the NASCAR Hall of Fame for a little behind-the-scenes gossip about Junior Johnson's engineering skills.
He's got two things in his hand, pipe wrench and channel lock pliers. And they weren't new. They had been around the block a time or two.
Wasn't the first steel they built, I bet.
No. I think the pliers had been red before, but paint had worn off.
And in the second episode, I talked to a professional hillbilly, a.k.a. Dr. Daniel Pierce of UNC Asheville, to find out the real history of moonshiners and their battles with the revenuers.
He wrote about one of his experience of trying to chase down this bootlegger in this souped-up car, and he complained that the government gave him these piece of crap, cheapo cars, and that were really no match, but he thought he was doing pretty good, and then the guy just hits it and just takes off and practically disappeared. But then the guy makes a bootleg turn and comes back towards him. And as he said, it was a game of chicken, and I was the chicken. And so he ran off the road. And actually, he was the guy who caught Junior Johnson at his daddy's steel when Junior got tangled up in a barbed wire fence.
So check out the Moonshine and Motorsports Racing Podcast, available on YouTube, dailydownforce.com, and all of your favorite podcasting platforms. And be sure to check out my regular show on NASCAR history, the Scene Vault Podcast.
Eric Estep here. One of my favorite parts of being a NASCAR fan is collecting diecasts. It's how I got my start on YouTube, actually. To me, a room is not complete until it features shelves of NASCAR diecast cars. It's as good a time as ever to continue your collection or begin an all-new one by pre-ordering your favorite driver's 2022 next-gen diecast at LionelRacing.com or at any authorized Lionel retailer. Lionel is the official diecast of NASCAR, and don't miss Lionel Racing's NASCAR Authentics diecasts at a Walmart or Target near you. Not only is Lionel the official diecast of NASCAR, but they're also official supporters of the Out of the Groove podcast network. So what are you waiting for? Head to LionelRacing.com to order your favorite driver's 2022 diecast.
You're listening to Maiden Level Cross, presented by Pristine Auctions. I'm Thad Moffitt.
And I'm Rowland George.
And it's been a while since we talked to you. So we have a lot to cover today. So Rowland, what are we going to start with here, bud?
Yeah, we got a lot to catch up on. So I hope you guys are ready who listen to this awesome podcast. It's been several weeks since we checked in with our fantastic audience, and a lot has happened with the racing world, with the political world. There's a lot that has transpired, so we're going to catch you guys up, see what's been going on in Mr. Moffitt's life and everything that's been going on in Level Cross. But to kick things off, so last time we talked to everybody was pre-Martinsville, and you guys, the Petty family, actually had a really special Martinsville celebration. You want to talk to us about that?
Yeah, that was a really cool deal, and I really appreciate Martinsville allowing us to do that. First off, I want everyone to know that I ate more hot dogs than Rowland at Martinsville.
How many hot dogs? This is news to me.
I'm just kidding, dude. I only ate 4. I'm pretty sure you ate like 8 hot dogs.
I had 8 hot dogs, yes.
But we all enjoyed our Martinsville hot dogs. But no, that was a really cool opportunity. So we had over 40 members of the Petty family. They got to give the command, "Gentlemen, start your engines," in honor of the Petty 75 and our 75th year in racing. And so that was really cool. First off, it's always really cool to have the whole family together. And then when you get to do it in a special place like that, Grandpa was tickled to death and got to see all my cousins, which doesn't always happen. It only happens like once or twice a year maybe. So yeah, it was a cool deal, and I enjoyed it. And Martinsville's a really cool racetrack, so The race was okay. I thought it was a good race in Martinsville. So we stuck around and watched first couple stages and then got out of there. But congrats to Blaney on the win there and advancing to the championship 4. And then we'll move into Phoenix later, I'm sure. But
yeah, that was a good race, though. I mean, I sat in the stands, and boy, that guy, he hustled. He definitely deserved that win. So definitely props to Blaney on that deal. But, so we had Martinsville, and then the next day, you and I had to board a plane at the dawn in where we fly out of Raleigh. And the trip there was very uneventful. Got to talk and joke around with your dad and Harrison. And, got to go through all the fun security measures thanks to the TSA. And Dad got stopped by dogs.
Yeah, I got pulled for a random check, dude. That thing took my whole bag apart and everything.
They smell those Martinsville hot dogs on your breath, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. But
what did they find? Anything? What was the reason?
Nothing. I was just a random, I guess. I mean, they took everything out of my bag.
They would choose you.
A little bottle of hand sanitizer. And they let me keep it. It was under 3 ounces.
That always gets me nervous when they got the dogs out and they make you walk those lines. Like, you three. So it was me, Thad, and this other guy. And yeah, of course, Thad was the one singled out. And you still beat me out of the security line. So I don't know how that happened. You were detained and full body cavity search and everything. And you still managed to make it to the gate before I did. Props to you. But yeah, we were on a plane to Las Vegas, not for fun. Well, I guess it's a little bit of fun, but mostly business. Went to the SEMA show, SEMA Apex. Always a good time. Your grandpa came along, so that was cool. Got to do a lot of stuff. Why don't you take the fine folks into what the SEMA event is all about?
Yeah, so the SEMA event's awesome. It's a really, really cool, but almost too big of an event. Like, you cannot see it all in the 2 or 3 days that we're there ever. But it's a really cool event for networking. We always get to go, and all of our partners are out there. We got to go to Induction Innovations booth, visited Safety Clean. We went to the Toyota booth with Grandpa. Our friends at Lear did not have a booth this year, unfortunately, but we did get to eat dinner with them and walk around the show with them. And yeah, so, BASF was there, SADA, all the people that we work with at Petty's Garage as well. We got to visit their booths, and it's always a cool event. Like, there's so many people, so many cool cars, especially outside. All the cool cars are outside, in my opinion. They unveiled in the Toyota booth, what they called the Supra Bird. And I thought that was really neat. That's how we kind of kicked off our SEMA show experience. But the first day when we landed, we didn't have a whole lot going on, so we just went to the In-N-Out Burger, and I was trying to get you guys to go to the Hoover Dam, but nobody wanted to go.
You did, or was it your dad's idea? I don't recall.
No.
That was the ongoing joke throughout the whole week, was we going to the Hoover Dam anytime soon? We actually ended up going to the Hoover Dam on our way to Phoenix. But yeah, Monday, I feel like we could have done a lot more than what we did. We went to the In-N-Out Burger, and then we went to Fremont Street, which was, call it Freakmont Street is what you call it, because there's some.
It was entertaining for sure.
There's some interesting people, man. If you like to see people without clothes on and people who are on illegal substances, that is the place to go. That was my first time there in quite a while, because when I go to Vegas, it's mostly for business, and boy, was I shocked. Things have changed since I was last there in 2007 at Fremont Street. And yeah, there are things that I can't unsee, Thad. So thanks to you and your dad for bringing me down there. And I suggested to go to the Atomic Bomb Museum, but nobody wanted to do that. That fell flat in everyone's ears. So maybe next time.
We didn't spend much time down there, to say the least. We were only down there for like 30, 45 minutes.
I know. I had to beg you to not stay any longer.
That is not true. I was ready to leave. I'm the one that I was like, hey, I think we've seen all we needed to see. Let's get it.
It's incredible when you're out in Vegas how early people like to drink. I guess there's really not a start or stop time out there. I mean, people are drinking and having a good time 24/7. Yeah. So it was amazing. What time were we down there? I think it was like 11 o'clock or noon. We got an early flight in there.
So,
and people were already hitting margaritas and doing all that kind of stuff way too early. But yeah, then, we had a really cool dinner with friends at Lear. Got to talk to Alan, Bill, Eric, all those guys. Good time. Those guys are a riot and love them to death. We got to actually backing it up because this happened before the podcast. You actually got to do ride-alongs in Charlotte with our friends at Lear. They did a big group event. How was that?
That was awesome. I think that every time you can give somebody that experience, they'll never forget it. And they were talking about it at dinner that night, and all their customers were talking about it, about how cool it was. So, yeah, I did, 20 ride-alongs probably that night at Charlotte Motor Speedway with our friends at Lear. And some of them even got to drive the cars, too, which was really, really cool. But, yeah, that was a unique experience. Probably the first time I've done that with, like, a group that was my sponsor. I've done it quite a few times, and I've done some one-offs with my sponsors, but never done a whole group of people, and just seeing people's face light up and like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever. That was a really cool experience for me. And then we enjoyed, I guess, dinner / appetizers afterwards with them, and they passed out the certificates. And
fastest time and slowest time. And I think the one guy had it on, he had an advantage because I think he said he did every driving experience.
Yeah. And
then he destroyed it.
The guy that was the slowest had to have stayed in third gear the whole time.
Yeah. There were some really slow laps, and I think you're right. I think people were just not getting to that fourth gear. That was your first time in a race car since your heel injury. So
yeah, that was a good test. Before Phoenix, that was a good test for me to like get in the car and say, man, how's my foot going to hold up? And I could feel it. Like, obviously, it's not going to go away instantly, but it held up good, and it gave me a lot more confidence going to Phoenix and getting in the race car that my foot would stay on.
Yeah. No, that was a fun time, but, back to Vegas, had a great time out there with our partners. Great time seeing Drew and Buddy at Safety Clean booth. And in fact, I saw on your fan club Facebook page, so Jim Boyle, our good buddy, he actually got the hero cards and the Safety Clean truck. So at SEMA, Safety Clean had a SEMA exclusive die cast, which is cool. And I believe that's your first 124 scale truck die cast for the 2024 season that was released exclusively at SEMA. And then they had the little 164. So the fan club has a couple of those for giveaway purposes. But how was that? That was pretty cool seeing those in diecast.
Yeah, that was really, really cool seeing those and getting to see the truck come to a diecast, like a real life truck come to a diecast was cool. I haven't had a 124 in a couple of years, obviously, because they didn't do it for the TA2 cars, and then that's my first truck one. So yeah, it was cool to see my truck made into a diecast, and I'm really excited to see the Petty 75 ones, dude. I'm ready to get my hands on those things because they are going to be like awesome.
Yeah, they're going to be, and we get that question a lot. I've got people come to the garage and ask, hey, where are they at? So they're still being produced. A lot of people think, hey, they were supposed to come out in Christmas time. Well, it's not Christmas time yet, folks. So like everything, some things have gotten delayed due to ports and, all that stuff, political deals. I can go on about that kind of stuff, but they're still scheduled to come out in that December timeframe. So just ask for your patience because we are just as eager to see these things. It's going to be probably one of the most popular diecast available this year. So we appreciate everyone who pre-ordered them. Don't forget, if you still haven't gotten some Petty 75 Thad Moffitt swag, you can still buy the t-shirt. We still got a little bit of them left over. Just hit us up at pettysgarage.com or visit Thad's website. You could order them for sure. And then I'm almost positive you can still order the diecast, Thad. I think there's still a limited amount available, and then you'll be signing some of them.
Yeah. I think we're planning on signing a bunch of the windshields, and then obviously the Pristine truck that everybody entered in the contest for is going to get made into a diecast as well, and signed. So yeah, a couple of exciting diecasts coming out over this off season.
Love me some diecast. We got, and we didn't talk about this last time, but so in terms of your diecast this year, the advent calendar, there was only 2 trucks in that calendar. There was Lane Riggs and yours truly. in the calendar, your Customer's Bank Daytona truck that's in there. So if you want a Thad Moffitt diecast, 1/64 scale, you got to get the Lionel Advent Calendar, which are available at lionelracing.com. And then, like I said, Safety Clean had the SEMA exclusive, so they might be a little harder to come by because they're through Safety Clean exclusively, kind of like a promo diecast, but I'm sure there'll be some popping up on eBay. Then Petty 75 truck, and then a Pristine truck. Am I missing any? I don't think anybody else did.
I think that's it. But
So,
going back to Vegas, I'm not a big Formula One fan at all. But what they've done with the streets out there for that race that they're having, dude, was crazy. You couldn't get anywhere. There's barricades everywhere. There's fences along the road. They had we stayed at the Cosmo right there on the Strip, and there was a big grandstand over the Bellagio, right in front of the fountains. And yeah, it's just looks like a mess. I don't follow Formula One at all, but all the work that the city of Vegas has put in to make that a Formula One track actually looks pretty cool.
it looks cool. I don't know if I'd go to it in person just because, I mean, how fast those things are going. I can't believe how humongous that, the track layout is, because it just seemed like when we were traveling different places in the city, there was a part of the track that was put up with seats. So I got to go back and look exactly what the layout is. And I know those seats are not cheap.
No.
I don't know exactly how much they are, but it's pretty crazy.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, then, so again, we got to check out cool things at Safety Clean. You and your grandpa signed some autographs there. And then we got to see our great friends at Induction Innovations. You got to sign some hero cards. I was a carnival barker throwing koozies at everybody. So I gave away a lot of koozies to some people who were very receptive of them, and then other people looked like they wanted to kill me. I don't want a koozie, but I made them take a koozie. So I hope I did my job that day for all our friends at Induction Innovations, because there's some cool koozies, man. We got to get some for some giveaways. Who wouldn't want a Thad Moffitt Induction Innovations koozie, right?
There was a group of kids over there, which I found really cool. I got to meet and talk to a group of kids that were in a shop class. I don't even know where it was located, but they came by and were all amazed. The mini ductor, and Cliff was up there giving demonstrations, and people were like, "Man, that thing's awesome!"
Cliff is the man when it comes to those demos, dude. I almost bought a mini ductor again. He's got that down pat.
Yeah, he's persuasive when it comes to the mini ductor and demonstrating it and how great the product is. But it will
definitely the best mini ductor out in their market, because there's some knockoffs. There's some guys who act like they got the real deal, but Induction Innovations got it. And then, could you believe how many Australians were at the show? That is insane.
Dude, I was amazed. Yeah, that was the SEMA show. People come from everywhere.
Everywhere.
I mean, everywhere. And I was giving hero cards away with the koozies, and there was people that were like, "Oh, you're in NASCAR. I'm buddies with SVG."
Yeah, SVG.
Yeah, I was like, "What?" You don't hear that a lot, me and him went to school together. What?
And Australia and New Zealand, they got fantastic car cultures, and like I said, it's nothing new that SEMA attracts a large international audience. But when you're at a booth interacting with people, it's amazing how many buyers are from Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah.
It really puts in perspective how international this show really is. It's not just a U.S. deal. You've got people from China, Thailand, Vietnam, all over Europe, Africa, Middle East. But I was just, every person that Cliff was talking to, it seemed like 9 out of 10 people were from Australia. Yeah. You could just hear it. You're like, wow.
And then not only that, just every form of racing, Joey Logano and all the other NASCAR drivers were there. And then you had dirt bikes. Brian Deegan was there. You had the NHRA guys. You had every type of racing that you can imagine shows up to the SEMA show. So
Tony was there. Our hero Tony Stewart was at the MagnaFlow booth, so we got to hang out with those guys, and it's pretty cool.
Who?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
She's gonna have that baby pretty soon, man. Tony's gonna be a daddy.
I mean, it was definitely full of racing celebrities, I guess you would call it, like it is every year. But it definitely attracts a crowd, the SEMA show, and even Apex. Like, I had a good time at Apex. There was several cars, racing vehicles in Apex, which is like an extension of the SEMA show. And we enjoyed our time over there. We got to meet a lot of people. We got to meet some new people and some people that we had already known from the past. And so, yeah, I think it was great.
Yeah, I enjoyed it thoroughly. And then, our last night, we, hung out with our friends at BASF and got to see John Shoemaker and Tina Nellis. Love those guys. That's where I held a golf club for the first time in my life. And whiffed a few, but you guys encouraged me, and I think I did okay for my first swings at golf. I don't know if I'm convinced to actually go on the green and participate just yet, but I thought it was pretty fun.
I was impressed. I thought you did a great job.
Oh, thank you. I was impressed by that trick shot you did. I know you posted that trick shot. That was, I don't know how impressive it was, but it was pretty damn impressive to me when I saw it. I was like, wow.
Well, it was fun. It was a good time. And then we went to bed early that night because we woke up before the sun came up the next day at 4:30 in the morning and started our road trip down to Phoenix. And, man, it just looked the same the entire drive, didn't it?
Yep. I didn't see the Hoover Dam. We crossed over it, but I did not see the Hoover Dam. It was so dang dark. It's crazy how dark the desert is. Like, you don't really it's amazing how dark it is. You were asleep, but I was like, holy smokes. It's nerve-wracking because it's almost just black, right? And you're fortunate if there's like a truck or something in front of you because you really can't see much. But what's really neat is when you're driving through the desert at that early and you start seeing the sunrise, that's really special. But then when you're full of light, it's nothing but mountains and cactus. So in that respect, it's kind of boring, dude. Just driving for hours on end. It's trying to get to your destination.
It's cool for like the first hour. And then once you get to like, man, I've been seeing the same exact cactus for 3 hours now.
Yep.
Like, we need to change the scenery. But no, we started our road trip down straight to our friends at Pristine's headquarters, where we met the guys who won the giveaway or the paint scheme contest, not giveaway.
Yeah. Alan and Alex. Shout out to those guys.
And surprisingly, one of them was really brushed up on their bowling history, which shocked the whole Pristine world.
Alan is the bowling expert. So he's getting a job from Pristine. It's a remote consultant work for any bowling memorabilia they get. Alan, if you're listening to this, I've confirmed you are the remote consultant for Pristine Auction. You get to do that job, man. So God bless you. What was funny was, and this is meaningless conversation, but on our way there, I missed so many exits to get to Pristine Auction, and Thad was telling me where to go, and I don't know if I was just excited to get there or I was just sleep deprived, but I kept missing exits to get to this HQ. And I hit the curb pretty bad pulling into headquarters. And I was hoping nobody saw me, but that was pretty rough.
Dude, hit the curb pulling in, and I said the lady at the front desk just saw that. And then we got out of the car, and he said, no, she didn't. No, she didn't. And we walked in, and there was 2 of them.
Yeah, they're like, definitely saw that.
Yeah.
We hit it with such ferocity. I don't know how I did it, but I must have just not been paying attention. But I mean, bam. Got that. Pristine Auction is incredible. I mean, you don't realize, not just Pristine Auction, but just the people who are involved in partnerships in the sport. You see their logo on the car, and you see activations, and you see us post stuff about them on social. But when you're actually physically there at a partner's business, and you could say this about Induction, you could say this about Safety Clean, anybody who is involved, specifically Pristine Auction, it is nuts what goes in to ensuring that everyone gets their packages, right? There's and we'll get to the actual behind the scenes stuff in a minute here, but was the warehouse not insane with how much stuff they had and the people? It's like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. It's
Yeah.
it's insane.
It blew my mind how much they ship in and out every day. I mean, they had like tractor trailer loads full of stuff.
Mhm.
I didn't think it was that much stuff every day, but they were like, yeah, this is just a normal day for us, kind of a slow day. And I was like, a slow day?
Yeah, kind of a
What?
yeah.
No, but it's incredible how they have it organized. It's incredible how much stuff they have. I mean, it's like goes on for as far as you can see, and it's all categorized, and everything is just, I don't know, very well put together. You can tell that they've done a really, really good job at, and they have guys that all they do is sort the memorabilia. They have guys that all they do is package the memorabilia. They have guys that do just about everything. But no, it was awesome to go and visit their headquarters where they had not only NASCAR stuff, they had football, basketball, baseball. They had a little bit of everything. They had a Dale Earnhardt Sr. fire suit. Like,
I felt stupid for asking, is this real? It's like, yeah, of course.
and they
it's
said
real.
it was from a Talladega win.
Talladega
Yeah.
win. I don't know what win. I don't know if, I mean, I should have asked.
Yeah, I never got the year either, but dude, that's like incredible. That's awesome to have something like that. They had just a few things we can mention, like the sword from
Braveheart, that was just collecting dust on the bottom of the shelf. I don't even think they were aware that they had that sword. So the Mel Gibson movie Braveheart, there's the sword that William Wallace holds in the movie. And oh yeah, I forgot about that. It's like, how did you forget about that? There was a Top Gun flight suit from Iceman, Val Kilmer, that was in our lunchroom just sitting on the drink fridge. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. You know what the most mind-boggling item there was? I don't know how they got rid of this, but or got a hold of this. They had the Thanos gauntlet, man. I thought that thing was destroyed when the Avengers saved our universe. Did you see that? You didn't see that? And they had all the Infinity Stones?
No, where was that at?
Right next to the Iron Man suit. They know Pristine is hooked up. They know Tony Stark, God rest his soul. I mean, they got all that stuff, man. I don't know how they acquired it. There's some Jared must have some crazy connections.
Yeah, Jared is a big NASCAR guy for sure. You could see all the NASCAR stuff that he had.
He got all the trophies.
Yeah, in his office alone. It just looks like he's a NASCAR fan. But yeah, they had a lot of incredible stuff there. And even as recent as the fight, I saw him posting this morning that Mike Tyson and Jake Paul boxing gloves from the fight.
Yeah,
all kinds of crazy stuff. Yeah, they really know how to get their hands on some incredible memorabilia. And it was cool for us to get to experience that and get treated to a lunch there and get to meet the guys who designed my truck. That truck looked sharp.
I think it did look sharp for sure. There were some decent paint schemes at Phoenix, but yours was definitely my favorite. And again, big thanks to Alan. Chimera Creative. You can look him up on Instagram. We'll put a link to his page in the show notes here. Hopefully he gets to design some cool stuff for next year. It's just awesome hanging out with those guys. But we got to Phoenix, got to hang out with Jared and Robert from Pristine. You got to sign some cards, and then you got to draw a what did he have you draw? Was it anything?
Yeah, anything I wanted to. And
anything you wanted.
I just chose to draw my truck and little sunset in the sky, some clouds.
It was way better than Joey Logano's. Joey just drew his championship winning Ford Mustang. I wonder if that's going online for auction.
I don't know.
That'd be pretty cool to have if you're a Joey Logano fan. I'm not saying I would have that in my collection by any means, but we'll get to that. I gotta voice my frustration here in a little bit. But the truck race, that was your first time at Phoenix since your ARCA race went 2021. How was it in a truck? Is it still your favorite track?
Yeah, I love Phoenix. I think it just took some getting back used to, because not only was it the first race back since 21 at that track, it was the first time I had raced in 3 months. Like, I had an off season in the middle of the season due to my injury, and everything we had going on, trying to find funding and just everything. And so it was good for me to get back in the seat. And it took a little bit of getting used to. And so we practiced and we weren't that great. Didn't feel like I could have been better. The truck could have been better, and then definitely left a lot on the table in qualifying. And when we started the race, I felt really, really good about the way the first 25 laps of the race went. We had passed 6 or 7 cars and moved our way up a little bit, and then we just fell off a cliff. We just got way, way, way too tight and couldn't keep the right front from chattering. It was just wicked tight, and then we started falling, and then we kind of maintained where we had gotten to in the second stage.
You put Malcolm in the middle 3 wide.
I did. Yeah, the restarts were – I love the restarts there, dude. The restarts are so much fun at Phoenix because you're just guessing. Like, you have no idea where anybody's going to go. You got that dog leg to cut, and it's jarring your teeth out when you're down there. And, I mean, like, it doesn't look that violent on TV, but when you're down there crossing it, it's violent. Like, you can feel it for sure. And it's just a really, really neat, fun racetrack. 2 totally different corners. Couldn't be more different in the way you approach either end of the racetrack or the restart zone with people looking like they're driving to pit road wall. I mean, it's just a really neat racetrack, and I enjoyed it a lot. So we got where we needed to in stage 2, I think, to position ourselves for stage 3. Crew chief made a good call to take the wave and catch a caution. But I guess during all the wrecking and stuff on the backstretch, we got a flat right front tire, and unfortunately it drug the sway bar arm completely off. And after that, it was like driving a school bus for the entire stage 3.
Yeah, and I was noticing like the race chatter. Some guys were like asking what the heck was happening. So, in your defense, you were driving not just a school bus, but a school bus that had no tires or wheels. Yeah. That's what I mean. After the race, so avoiding that. Props to you, man, for avoiding that crash. We were all on our feet when that happened. I think it was Frankie Muniz and was it Stephen Parsons too? I forget who else was involved, but
a handful of the guys we were around. I mean, even Lawless got a bunch of damage from.
Yep. But you avoided it, but I think you ran over something, and that's what really just killed the night. The truck was good. Well, the truck didn't sustain any crazy damage from a body perspective, but there was enough where, props to you for keeping that thing out of the wall.
It was mechanical. Like the truck was fine body-wise and everything, but I guess when we got the flat and you ride around on the flat for a mile, it drags the sway bar arm completely off, and then you're just running basically with no sway bar on you, which is not fun.
Try doing that on the streets, folks. That's not.
I'm telling you, dude. I would go off into turn 1, and it would feel like the left front tire would like pick up off the ground, and then like once we get onto the back straightaway, it would slam back down.
Yeah.
And so it was like I was just trying my best not to wreck and stay out of everybody's way at that point.
Yeah, because you're trying to not be you're trying not to get in the way of the championship fight that's going on. And then you're also, I mean, I saw some people saying you slowed down considerably in the well, here's the reason why. You have a truck that is barely controllable, and most people know the faster you go and the more unstable a truck's going to be. So it's either go all out and try to run really fast and smash probably in the first corner you go into, or just keep the truck in one piece and just finish the last 40 laps now. Because I heard you on the radio. You were like, when is this going to end, man?
I hate to be like that, man, because I never want to quit racing. But running that thing without a sway bar arm on it was not fun. And then I was in the way of the leaders, or I was getting lapped the final time with no sway bar arm. And I was like, whatever you do, just get me out of this thing. Just get me out of this race. Yep. Just get me to this checkered flag. And we made it somehow. And a P27 finish to cap off the year is not exactly what we were looking for, but we'll take it with the night we had. I think that we could have ran better. I think that a couple things go our way and we practice a little better, then maybe we end up running really well. But who knows? We'll look forward to 2025 and getting to Daytona and seeing what we can do there.
For sure. But big thanks to Tyler Young, all the guys who put in their hard work at that shop. Definitely gave you guys, or you, the opportunity to finish off the season strong. And yeah, I'm ready to put 2024 to bed. I'm ready for next year, man. But we'll take a quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll wrap things up here. Pristine Auction is the most trusted sports memorabilia and collectibles auction site. Auctions on pristineauction.com start at just $1, and each day, thousands of signed items are available. So you win signed, authentic items at affordable prices. Every item on pristineauction.com comes with a certificate of authenticity from the industry's most reputable authenticators.
PristineAuction.com is your one-stop shop for all authentic signed die-cast, helmets, trading cards, photos, and so much more of your favorite driver.
Alrighty, Thad. I am on PristineAuction.com, and I'm going to switch things up for a little bit because upon our visit, I was not aware they had some really cool historical items. So I found some pretty dang cool historical items. There's so many to choose from, but I found one that is pretty dang cool. You know what it is?
Let's hear it.
It is Robert O'Neill, heroic Navy SEAL. He signed a Frogman helmet. And right now, it's up for grabs. The bid's $23.10. I'm placing my bid right now for that thing. It's going to sit in my living room. It's going to be freaking awesome. So what do you got?
Man, that sounds cool. But with football season being around, I see a Barry Sanders signed full-size speed helmet, which would look great in a man cave one day once I get to having a man cave. So I'm going to have to see if I can get my hands on that and get it here to my house.
Upgrade your collection today and get $10 off your first win using registration code THAD. Again, that's registration code THAD for $10 off your first order. Links are in the show notes.
Oh my God, this is so good. What are you eating? Some tasty duck, Thad. What do you think? Some of America's tastiest duck. That's right. So for our friends at Joe Jurgowitz and Son, raising America's tastiest duck is the family business. As a fourth-generation family-owned company, Joe Jurgowitz and Son is proud to sponsor Thad Moffitt and the number 46 truck, and proud to offer our podcast listeners 20% off at tastyduck.com. So visit tastyduck.com to shop Joe Jurgowitz and Son's delicious range of whole ducks, duck parts, and more. At checkout, enter the code THAD in all caps for 20% off. Again, go to tastyduck.com, enter THAD to get America's tastiest duck delivered to your door for how much off, Thad? 20% off. 20% off, baby. Visit tastyduck.com and make sure you keep on quacking. Quack, quack.
Induction Innovations is a leader in American-made handheld induction heaters, home to the original Mini Ductor. For over 20 years, they have been innovating how mechanics can tackle challenges like Loctite, rust, and much more.
Induction Innovations Mini Ductor series was meant to free up components quickly using induction heat. The Mini Ductor is designed to help techs cut down on ticket times and say, forget that torch.
Induction Innovations. Do it faster, do it better, do it safer. Visit theinductor.com to learn more.
BASF Automotive Refinish Coatings offer a complete coating solution and have been improving this offering for over 150 years. In addition to providing solutions to collision centers around the globe, BASF also partners with the best builders in the industry, like Petty's Garage, to provide them with custom color solutions to make their visions a reality. Builders across the country give their creations the finishes they deserve with BASF award-winning coatings. For more information on BASF Automotive Refinish Coatings, visit their social media pages or basfrefinish.com. All right, we are back. So we are recapping. Phoenix had a good time there. Let's talk about some controversy, man. Let's talk about this championship. What are your thoughts?
I don't know, man. It's tough because Joey is the best at this format system. Like, everybody knows the rules, and Penske has won the last 3. They've won every one since the next gen car. Penske is the best team at this playoffs format system, and everybody knows the rules. Do I agree with the rules? Absolutely not. I don't think that there's no way that Kyle Larson should not have been running for a championship after the season that he had. And I don't know, man. It's tough. I feel like it's a double-edged sword. I think there's ways to fix it, but, I mean, am I the one that's going to fix it? No, probably not. So
I know NASCAR is looking at it because I think the fan response has been quite negative on this format. I think the driver has a lot to do with that. And I think Joey's a fantastic human being, but he's polarizing. And you can't really put your finger as to why. Like, you can put your finger to Denny Hamlin or Kyle Busch. They're polarizing, right? But fans just don't like Joey Logano. So the thing I say is, if that was Blaney or if that was William Byron who won the championship, I don't think you would have had as much negative response from this playoff.
Because Blaney and William Byron both deserve to be there.
That, but I'm just saying, like, they're not polarizing figures in our sport. You know, you don't hear people actually booing against either one, or Tyler Reddick for that matter either. But
I mean, I'm not saying that Joey didn't deserve to be there, because he is a deserving champion, I guess. But he just, I mean, looking at his year as a whole, would you have picked him as a champion?
Oh, no.
In October, you would say this guy's.
But it's like you said in the beginning, for this playoff format, they figured something out. And that's what he said in his press conference. He says that it's BS to think that he's not deserving champion, which you got to give it to him. If you figured it out and you've been able to, and granted, you had the whole Bowman controversy with, you know, him getting in on a technicality, but he's figured something out. And is he deserving champion for an overall season? No, not by any means, but he rose to the occasion. And if anything, it's this format that has created this controversy. It's not the drivers per se. It's the win and you're in. And then each what do you call it? Each round, you win, you go to the next round.
Yeah.
So I think that's what needs to be visited is NASCAR has made it clear they're not going away from this playoff format. But does there need to be more emphasis on who the regular series champion is? Does there need to be more emphasis on the points? You know, there are some, like you said, Larson, Reddick, heck, Byron, they put on epic beatings on the field throughout the year. And the problem is they're not there at the end, right?
Yeah.
They get out. And they don't seem to be bothered by it. Christopher Bell sure as hell was bothered by it. I mean, he said, I feel cheated. Yeah. And that's a whole other controversy about Martinsville that we didn't really touch on. But there's really not an easy solution for this, because I'm old school. I like the Winston Cup points. I'm one of these guys who believes that racing is different from stick and ball sports. But the problem is there's more to NASCAR nowadays than there is back then. And what I mean by that is NASCAR is more for entertainment now. There's a lot of things that heavily rely on sponsorships, TV deals, getting people's butts in the seats at the tracks. I don't think you have that on an old Winston Cup style points system. Would you agree?
Yeah.
I mean, if you know who the championship is 3 weeks before.
I agree, but I just think they need, like, because of the times, they need some type of, like, chase or playoff system or something. Right. I don't know what the answer is. I don't think that it's the way it is now, because, like, Larson missed a race. He missed a race and still almost won the regular season championship and didn't get to run for a championship. Like,
and he was okay with it.
Yeah. I mean, there's guys.
He's very humble.
There's guys that just, like, had incredible years or an incredible season, and I think they had better seasons than a 22 car. I think they had better seasons than some of the guys that made it even into the first round of the playoffs. But I don't know.
What's your opinion? Here's what I've heard a lot of different opinions on this. And Steve Letarte was on Denny's podcast, and they were going back and forth about solutions. I like the idea of having a 3-race final round. Since 2014, I've never been a fan of the whole, it comes down to one race, right? There's a lot of things that could ruin your chance at a championship. And I know some people like that. I think it levels the playing field. Keep the playoff system, but at least if you have 3 races in the final round for that championship 4 or however you want to do it, at least there's that, right? There is still the drama. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I like the 3-race championship. I think that, there's a lot that could happen there too, though, right? Like, if you get 3 races at it and somebody wrecks out the first race and then wins the next 2, who's the champion? Like, it could be controversial no matter what. I do like that better, though, because I don't like the emphasis on one race decides who's the best driver that year or who's the champion that year. I don't like that at all, because why run 37 other times? Why run 37 other races if it's a 1-race deal and that's the champion of the entire sport? It's basically like an exhibition, like the All-Star races, right? You win it and you're the All-Star that year. It's like I said, it's a double-edged sword no matter how you look at it. I think there is an answer somewhere in the middle, and I think that NASCAR needs to take the drivers' opinions seriously, and maybe just everybody kind of agree on something. Like NASCAR wants it one way, the drivers maybe want it a different way, and then everybody kind of meets in the middle and we get a new system. But I know they're taking a look at it. Do I expect a lot to change? Probably not. But I do think there does need to be some change. And I like rotating the tracks too. Like, I know it's a process, but I like, maybe it's not the same 3 tracks every year. Maybe it's not the same one track every year. Like, a lot of teams have gotten to where they really just focus on Phoenix.
Yeah. Like you said, Penske has that track down.
And Penske and Hendrick, I think, absolutely are the best 2 teams at Phoenix right now. And they have been for the past couple of years. And I think it's just they put a lot of emphasis on going to Phoenix, and then you'll see them as a group struggle at other places that, not that they don't matter, but do they affect the playoffs at all? No. So
it's interesting. At the end of the day, this is NASCAR's world, and we just live in it. So will they make changes? Who knows? But I do feel like something needs to be done. But congratulations to the champions of each series, Ty Majeski, Justin Allgaier. I was super happy with that one. Yeah, I sound like a hypocrite, though, right? Because Justin Allgaier, had somebody else won, probably wouldn't have been as happy. But I think Justin Allgaier, for everything he was up against in that race, that was really special to see him finally capture a championship.
He made it a lot harder than it needed to be, for sure.
Yes, absolutely. I feel like the Xfinity Series just provides better racing, in my opinion, too. I feel like that has been so much more of an entertaining series than the Cup Series, certainly the Truck Series. But I've really enjoyed the racing coming out of the Xfinity Series. So congrats to all our champions, and we'll see what happens in the off season. So speaking of the off season, what you got planned? We got some holidays coming up. You do any more racing during the off season, or are we just focus on 2025?
We're just going to do some sim racing and focus on 2025. We've got our SimCraft Apex 6, and we'll be spending a lot of time on that over the next couple months, getting some laps in, getting some races in, and getting ready for the 2025 season. Played in the Petty Family Foundation golf tournament this past weekend, so some charity stuff that we're doing over the off season, and probably playing some golf, traveling around a little bit here and there, and eating some turkey at Thanksgiving and Christmas, and get right back at it in Daytona next year.
I'm eating duck for Thanksgiving, so.
Yeah.
I asked Joey about some really good duck recipes for the holidays, so he's going to send me some. I am ready to go all in on mastering a Peking duck. So I'll invite you over to try some of them, because I'm not as scared as I was in the past to prepare a duck.
I would enjoy that.
I think it's going to be pretty epic. So look forward to that.
Only if it's duck from my friends at Joe Dergowitz and Sons.
Of course, we would not have it any other way. The other guys they're wannabes. If it ain't a Joe Dergowitz and Son duck, why bother?
Yep, that's right.
So, with that being said, got any parting words of wisdom for the fine folks at home?
No.
I don't know. Nothing? You got nothing?
I'm trying to think of something really smart, but there's nothing there.
My parting words of wisdom are be sure to drink your Ovaltine, and you can take that to the bank.
My parting words of wisdom are stay hydrated.
Awesome.
Thank you guys for listening to Maiden Level Cross. Be sure to follow, like, subscribe on all your favorite streaming platforms, and follow me, Bad Moffitt 46, on social media.